I want to discuss something that is not really welcome, but since this is my channel, I get to tell my story. Does it make sense? I spent 11 years protecting American. Before that, as a kid growing up, I'm always the one that, try to do things for the community. From the road hazard to broken electrical wires I see when I'm driving around, I'm always the one that does not hesitate to report. Uh, Even when I was really young, 1990 or 1989, gang warfare was pretty prolific in Los Angeles. And I got the habit of calling the police to report whenever I see somebody beating up another person. I don't really care which side is which gang. I just know that the police were to prevent the violence that I was witnessing. And I don't really want to see anyone being beat up or dying. And that's why I call the police. Even at a younger age, I already see the tendency toward putting things in order for people. But in terms of like order for my desk, I'm usually pretty messy at my desk. Um, that's beside the point. So the inherent evil of the American, they come into Vietnam. What they did was essentially genocide. Right now, no one wants to mention it, but I'm calling it genocide because it checked the definition of genocide. And if we take away the word genocide, we could describe it as the American came into Vietnam, reduced the population by half, dramatized the other half that's left, and try to starve them to death. You call it what you want. But right now, I think genocide is the hip word for that kind of shit. But in the old days, we always had that kind of things going on. Now, the evil part is not just the genocide, okay? You have people who rape and pillage and steal. Some people do it because they're struggling. They have a struggle. When American invaded Vietnam and depopulated the 2 million people, they killed 2 million people, rape and pillage and all that, and terrorized the other 2 million. The Americans were not struggling. They were the rising empire. They had the wealth. They need nothing from Vietnam. Really, they didn't need anything. The French were leaving. The American has, British, French, and other influences. And I read somewhere that the faction inside the OSS or CIA, whatever, is kind of convoluted to me. But the secret society and services in the U.S., they have the internal conflict, like red team, blue team. Currently, you're witnessing the Democrat and the Republican, trying to take different direction. Well, back then there was the Captain Sullivan. That was an OSS captain. The people from the U.S. that were fighting the Japanese, they were working with Ho Chi Minh, and they liked the guy, right? So when you partner with a friend and ally, you build up rapport and respect because the other person was competent. And what better people to work with than competent people? So the OSS officer wanted the U.S. to be an ally with Ho Chi Minh because he was a friend of America. He helped America fight a common enemy. He wanted to be friends with America, but for really petty reason. But petty is kind of an injustice to the situation. I think evil would do proper justice to the situation. America wanted to destroy millions of lives in Vietnam simply because they could, and to put Vietnamese into their place. Now, you really wouldn't understand this because no one ever taught you this, and the history book doesn't really say it. But what does it mean to put someone in their place? So, most of us have dogs and cats, and dogs, they like to be petted, and they want your attention, so they do what they can to get your attention. They jump on your lap, they muzzle their head on your lap, they jump on the table and eat your steak when you're not looking. So to put the dog in their place, you make sure that they realize the table is not their place. Your lap is not their place. Well, some of us, but anyway, I don't let my dog jump on my lap. So I put them in their place. Now, Americans want to put Vietnamese in their place because Vietnamese wanted to have a nation too. Hey, American declared independence. We want to declare independence too. Well, Americans didn't really see it that way. They're like, well, you're not white enough to be independent. Sorry. You could be a colony of France. You could have a puppet government, but you have to listen to us. But if you really wanted to be independent, fuck no. Essentially, it's something really callous like that, okay? I haven't read any book that really dig into the callousness of treating another human being that way at the collective level, where the entire nation of the U.S. would go and treat the entire nation of Vietnam like dogs. In French, they call them coulis. Coulis is basically a porter, someone who lifts and carries stuff for you. It wasn't designed to be derogatory, but it's essentially a derogatory term now to call someone a coulis. Well, the inherent evil here is they think they're not evil. Like most evil people, they don't really call themselves, I am evil. No, no, no. They're doing this for the betterment of humanities. And I don't want to go into the justification, because if you want to call yourself good by raping and pillaging and genocide, there's nothing I can say to you to convince you that you're wrong, right? So if someone comes to you and tell you their actions of rape, pillage, and killing 2 million people and starving the other 2 million people that left and trying to erase the country from existence, yeah, I wouldn't recommend arguing with them over them doing a service. They're not really there to listen. So after my parents survived all of that, we came to the U.S. in September 1989. I grew up with racism and gang warfare in LA County for about 10 years. I didn't like the way my dad do business. For some reason, I have my own personality at an early age, and I just don't accept the way things were done. So I decided to leave home. It's kind of like Benjamin Franklin, after learning about what's right and what's wrong, what should be, what shouldn't be, he decided to leave his brother to look for something, without full knowledge of what is out there. We just took off. We just wanted to find something better. I joined the military. Initially, the Army recruited me. And at the time they found me, I think I was kind of brain dead. I was taking classes at a community college. And that's where the Army buy the info from the community college, or they just take it and they contact me to join Army. So I was curious, so I followed the recruiter to the maps, take the test. They were surprised at how high I scored and were really happy they found me because now they could fill another number in the quota. But instead of trying to find the best job in the army for one of the best ASVAB score, they wanted me to become infantryman because apparently they are short of stupid people who goes to war and die for the country. I didn't like the idea of being shot at, and I never liked shooting at people. So that wasn't a great idea. The $40,000 they offer was great. I'm like, yeah, I like $40,000, but even then, in my 20, I really don't know what I want to do with $40,000. Like, yeah, that's great, that's cool, but I don't really have a great purpose where I need $40,000. Now that I'm older, I know what to do with $40,000. Like a lot of good projects I can do with $40,000. But back then, I don't have any need for it, so I don't really think much about it. I just know being an infantryman wasn't that smart of a decision. So then my mom caught news that I was trying to join the military, so she gave me a business card from this lieutenant colonel who visited her often to fix her uniform. And they say they treat people better. But anyway, I didn't really know what that means, treating people better. So I only wanted to join the Air Force to see what they have to offer. And the offering from the Air Force was slightly better. They wanted me to refuel airplane. I'm like, that's a boring job. Like, I already have a better one here, so no. They offer me ammunition depot. I'm like, what's ammunition depot? It's like, well, manage bullets and bombs. I'm like, well, I'm accident prone. You don't want me next to bombs. So I turned down a lot of the jobs they wanted to fill, and you should know that the recruiter, I like used car salesman. Okay, they're like the asshole of the military, and I don't have too much respect for them, but having contempt for them is sort of disrespectful. But you know, you before you join the military, you don't have to look at them with respect. You could look at them as used car salesmen because that's the most appropriate thing. They dare to fuck your life over for stupid quota. They have X number of people they have to fill. That's the mandate. To them, it's not right or wrong. It's their job, and it's the right thing to do because they really believe that it's the right thing to do. Just like all the people who commit genocide, they believe that's the right thing to do. You don't have to support them in their belief. What you can do is support yourself in your belief that you should do what's best for you. So before you talk to a Air Force recruiter or Army or Navy or Marine, you should probably look for opinions and advices from people who are other than military recruiters. Um, I wouldn't say they sold a soul, but people with soul probably cannot do it. Um, After you do 10 or 20 years in the military, then you can form your own opinion. But right now, you probably should use the opinion of someone other than yourself in regard to the military. So I joined the Air Force as a 9S100. At the time, no one at the LA Maps understand what the fuck this is. I don't know what the fuck it is. But they say they were going to teach me electronics, geophysics, scientific stuff, you know. I'm like, oh, science, 9 months of science, cool. So I joined, not because of the money, because of the things they were going to teach me. And they were the most impractical things they were teaching me. Science, what the hell am I going to do with science, right? And after I got out of the military, I could tell you those geophysical educations they're not practical. I'm not gonna do shit with it. Right now, I offer IT support and fix computer. No one is really gonna need me for my geophysical equipment expertise or my expertise on the UN nuclear tritium monitoring. Uh, no one really needs that. Well, anyway, enough lamenting that. After I joined, I had to deal with a lot of racism in the military. And because the military is slightly more educated and fifth grader who were throwing rocks at me for looking like Chinese. They don't really throw rocks at work, but they do throw racial slur and a lot of things. Some are harmless. Like for example, we have some people who thought it was funny that I sound like the kid in Indiana Jones. They have practical jokes that they leave where they have sticky notes and they ask me to read it for them. And they bust out laughing. Of course, it doesn't make sense to me because for me, my accent is not funny to me, but for them, it was hilarious. So, I could deal with that. I get it. I'm not really resentful over that. But there are some really malicious people who look for people with some differences where they could step on. Okay, there's no reason to step on people other than their the mental illness. So you could label it whatever you want, but it's a problem with them when they have a need to step on people. And having other people suffer, fill them with joy somehow or satisfaction. So it's a sort of mental illness because when I observe kids and children, most are not like that. I do detect, some are kind of fucked up. Even by two, you could see like, oh, this guy is gonna be an evil bastard. But most of the kids, they want friends. They look for people the same size. They would discard the differences, but they have no desire to put other people into their place. Like you are inferior, and you must accept that you are inferior. And torture people and make people suffer. Those are special type of illness. So I end up in one of the top secret headquarters. And in the U.S., it's like a white man's world, right? So when you join the top secret national security apparatus, it's mostly white people. The higher you go up, the more white it gets. There are some Vietnamese, some Asian, but they keep the head down. So the terminology for people who survive the political environment in the U.S. would be keeping your head down and doing your job. But that's kind of stupid because when you have a situation with bully, keeping your head down is not the solution to deal with bully because it invite bully. Now, I don't want to argue it. You either know it or you don't. But anyway, that's the case. So the common advice to keep your head down and do your job only works if you have bosses that can tolerate you. But there are some people who cannot tolerate you because for whatever reason they think that Chinese and Japanese are not human or they don't deserve the same treatment, so they use as punching bags or whatever toy to be tortured. People have odd reason for doing things. Some of them we call mental illness. Some of them we don't understand, but you don't have to. Just know that if they're fucked up, that they're fucked up and it's not your job to fix them. You could report to the authority, and if the authority don't deal with it, you should deal with it. And at the point 2013, I have been dealing with bullies in the Air Force for many years. I know they don't really fix the problem. They just want the problem to go away because no one wants to be dealing with problems. They don't want to be the one that say someone did something bad. Most people run away from their responsibility. Very few people run toward their responsibility. For example, in the military, we have a complex job, but it really comes down to protecting the country. And with that, you have the people and the equipment to do that. So you could sum up the military's job and responsibility is to protect the people and the equipment. So when you don't protect the people, you're not really doing your job. In the contract and business world, you could call this fraud. When you tell people you're gonna service X equipment, provide certain security or a certain quality, and you just don't do it, it's fraudulent. You're taking the money, but you're not performing the level of service that you promised. But anyway, this is military, and this is where the most incompetent people go to make a living, because outside in the real world, incompetence don't deserve a paycheck, so it's not a comfortable living. But in the military, it's okay to sit there at your desk for 20 years and do nothing. Most of your officer corps, they were trained to be leaders. So as a leader in the military, you just tell people what to do, then you take credit for what they do. So at least 50% of your military are like parasitic right there off the bat. And then when you have nothing to do, sometimes your evil tendency needed like scratching. So then you take opportunities to satisfy your personal need. In general, when I'm in the Air Force, I think about the negative consequences that I bring to them. So I try not to do things that, harm the the apparatus. But some people, they don't really think that way. They would think that, hey, I'm just gonna be here, and then 20 years later, I'm gonna get my retirement. I don't have to do anything because the U.S. will be there tomorrow. If I don't fix it, someone else will fix it. These are actual words that I was told. Here's how it come out. One time I confronted one of my peers, so someone of the same rank as me. He was making false report on the performance for one of his person he supervised. So I pulled him aside, like, you're kind of doing a disservice for us here with those fake performance report. He said, oh, it doesn't really matter. It's just a game anyway. So, when people treat the survival of their nation like it doesn't really matter, then the collective effort of that is it doesn't really matter, and your nation will go away. It's kind of evil because I don't think people really comprehend the suffering that will follow when a country goes down. An empire could be first or second. The number one and number two is not the big deal, but the transition from first to second or last causes a lot of unwanted consequences. It's first, you don't want to become first and then transition to last. And second, for the second and the last to become first, they gotta take down the first place. So in the context of national competition, they might not allow the U.S. to exist after it's taken down. Do you understand? It's not practical to leave the existential threat. It's not practical to give the American a second chance at rising. So the best way to do that is genocide. Well, genocide is wrong, like I said earlier. Most of us don't like that, but that's what we're looking at. If we're transitioning from the top dog to the last dog, because we're gonna be dog meat at that point. And then the other one, the best one is the boss I had who keep touching me. Now it's not a touch of like he wanted sex, but it's a touch of like I could touch you whenever I want, I could push you whenever I want, that type of touch, right? By this time he's about 20 years in the Air Force, and I have 11 years in the Air Force. It doesn't really make sense why he thinks he should do it, why he thinks he can do it, and why he thinks he can get away with it. But the fact is that he got away with it. He's allowed to retire, and I was rejected. Anyway, I was discarded from the Air Force, and it took me nearly 10 years to regain some of my benefit that I earn and deserve. So it's not just the dumb idiots, it's the entire system that has a lot of idiots in it, and it's inherently evil because it harms everybody. It even harms them because here's the exact example, okay? So we have 4 Americans, 3 white guy and me, the Asian guy. Our job is to make sure data flow back to headquarters, and we spy on the entire planet. And Thailand is a unique position because it's the only eye into China that we have. So in the region, we don't have that many sensors. So Thailand is kind of like a critical spying hub or a sensor hub. And I'm the only one that care enough to study my job and able to do my job. The other 3 guys are unable to do the job. So by policy, they should not be there in the first place because we are sent there to provide technical advisory to the Thai technician who repair the equipment and maintain the equipment. And when you cannot do that job, you don't really belong there. But anyway, they're there. So I do the work. The other 3 gets the credit. So usually they get the credit, but also give me the credit. So then we all, do okay. But in this case, they got this idea that they deserve all the credit and I deserve no credit. So I'm like, this is kind of odd. Why would you kind of set this image up? And then my supervisor's like, oh, you're making a mountain out of a molehill. Like, it doesn't make sense why he would see it that way either. But, people make up excuses for whatever they want. So I tried telling my boss that, my commander that, don't touch me. And he's like, what are you going to do about it kind of attitude. I'm like, look, if you push me again, your head will be through the wall. And he don't think that I was being serious, but I'm like kind of serious because I never allow people to touch my head or bully me like that. And I have a history of beating a bully in high school and grade school. So I don't think he understand that I was really gonna break his head against the wall. But anyway, I emailed him because I couldn't talk to him anymore. I emailed him and then I CC his second command. I'm like, look, your touching is inappropriate. I don't appreciate it. I don't like it. If you want to entertain yourself, there are other ways to do that are more legal because this shit that you're doing is illegal. So he responded with, I'm sorry, no, noted. Like, what the fuck is noted? Right? So this is your typical bully response who already got like 20 years in the military. It's like, I'm unaccountable to you. You don't get to say shit. I do whatever I want and I say whatever I want. So anyway, I thought noted mean like he's gonna like respect that request, right? No. What he does is he thought about how he could get back at me, right? So he ordered the open rank inspection. Open rank inspection is where they look at your uniform and find fault. In basics training, is used to harass trainee to put them into their place. But in a typical operation, we do that to kind of make unit look good. But generally it's for harassment at this point. So anyway, we're in Thailand, and the rule is that we are not supposed to be in military uniform. The reason is we don't want people to see Chiang Mai as an Air Force station. The U.S. Air Force really don't need more terrorists targeting their remote unit. So when terrorists learn about all of the vulnerable military detachment, they might just go and have their way with them. There's not a lot of military defenses at those detachments. So we usually wear civilian clothes, blend in. And the other thing with Thailand is politically they don't like military because every time the American come somewhere, they turn it into a brothel. So when American in Thailand, they turn Thailand into a brothel, a place where you buy hooker and prostitute. Same thing with Okinawa, Japan, or so with Wonju, Korea. So anyway, where there's a U.S. military base, there's prostitutions and red light districts. So it's not the best thing for a country to have American GIs there. It's a culture. I witness it. I'm not too big on it, but I'm not really up in arms about it. But that's a common trend. So anyway, where was I? Yeah, the guy doesn't take the request to stop harassing, so it just escalate the whole thing. After open rank, which cannot really be done because with 4 guys you cannot do open rank. I explained this to them because I was in the Air Force Honor Guard. I know more about open rank than all of them combined. So after that, we also get to report in and listen to his 1-hour rant about how he deserved respect. I'm like, what do you mean you deserve respect? I didn't say it, but in my head, like, what the fuck are you ranting about? It's like, I get to say what I say, and you just have to deal with it. This is not a democracy. This is a kingdom. So after the 1-hour shenanigan, I told the vice commander, the second in charge, like, look, dude, I need a letter that state what just happened here. And he's like, oh, you're taking this out of context. I'm like, huh? Anyway, it was a fucked up situation. So in order to deal with me, they find things like something wrong to do. So in the military, it's really easy to kind of create a paper trail because you could write people up for anything. There's a lot of catch-22 stuff and things that cannot be defined, so you just make up shit. So the commander here tasked his buddy, Tech Sergeant Russell Hobart here, hey, write fam up for something. So the dumbass looked up something on the internet, and apparently he pulled something from the Espionage Act. This is where you hang people for treason. So he wrote up a letter about me going to China and not reporting it, and that is a crime under the Espionage Act. So I thought it was really stupid because he doesn't know any rules and policy and regulation for our workplace because we have all of this written. He just don't know. And then he uses the Espionage Act. So I sent him a nasty letter citing how this is not really the correct regulation. It expired and it doesn't meet the definition of the law here. But, while we're at it, this guy is sabotaging the U.S. equipment and sabotaging U.S. mission. This is an act of treason. They don't know how to respond to it, so they kind of like brush it off and never mention it again. But then they continue to target me and spread rumors I was a Chinese spy. And the white people in the Air Force, especially in AFTAC and other top secret places, they don't really work in the war. they don't really work outside. They have almost like a Mormon cult like knowledge and attitude. Because when you work outside, you develop like a reality check. But these people, they never done anything in their life. They just sit in the military with top secret and live inside like this bubble. And the entire world revolves around the people who share their antsy and whatever anxiety. So when someone say FAM is trying to flee to China to sell national security, it's like a bored housewife receiving a bomb threat. It's the most exciting things in their life. Never mind that it's not real. So they had a good time trying to hang FAM, but then they found out they don't have anything on FAM. They take the case to the lawyer, and the lawyer laugh in their face, etc. So after about 3 or 4 months, I noticed that they don't know what to do. One of the thing was I gave up on them. Like, I'm done waiting. Like, get me a fucking lawyer. Like, let's do this the right way. And they're like, what do you need a lawyer for? I'm like, dude, you're holding me a prisoner. Like, get me a fucking lawyer. So the first sergeant takes me to the judge advocate. So in the military, they have lawyers that are divided into the prosecution and the defense, right? So they take me to the prosecution team and told them to be my lawyer. And I'm trying to clarify with the lawyer, are you representing me or the prosecution team? And he was being coy about it. Well, you wanted to see a lawyer and I'm a lawyer. Like, he didn't want to answer the fucking questions. So legally, he's still guilty of malpractice because he's a prosecutor. He should not be pretending to be my defense lawyer. Even if he don't say he's a defense lawyer, he's still pretending to be one. So anyway, this is a shit that happens outside of the view of the public. So they ostracized me and told people to not talk to me, which is kind of illegal because of the First Amendment thing. So after that, it just caused a lot of issues. They didn't want to let me go because they wanted to find a way to lock me up or whatever. I don't know what the fuck goes on with stupid people. So after I saw another one of my fellow co-worker commit suicide, I'm like, well, I was in suicide prevention training. Everything that's happening right now matches all of the checkbox for suicide. Why am I not dead yet? I'm like, well, fuck, I'm not gonna wait until I die and then deal with it. Like, since my my Air Force is incompetence, I think I should solve this. So I booked my ticket back to California. I told the asshole at work that I am going home to my family. If they stop me, they're going to have issues. And this is a look of someone who don't give a fucking shit about them. And I was ready to kill them and their family in front of them. So I'm glad that they kind of took me seriously instead of like before. They asked for about 1 or 2 days to secure the paperwork. So they had people fake and forge doctor signature. They signed paper and pencil whip stuff. So they have a discharge paperwork for me. And then they fucking lost the paperwork. Now, in the military, we don't lose paperwork. We shred paperwork. So when they say they lost the paperwork, they shredded it. So it put me in limbo for the rest of the year. And finally, around December, somebody I call into the military record, and they asked for it, and they said it was lost, so they had to recreate it. This is not how national security works, but this is how it happened. And if the U.S. is going to blow up tomorrow and 300 million people die, it's expected. when you run national security this way, you don't deserve to have a spot on this planet. There's a lot of people willing to take your place at the leader, at the helm. And this is the current situation where the leaders are saying, hey, when the Americans are not leading, other people fill the void. Well, yeah. But the thing is, we think that if other people are filling the void, they are malign or evil. Like, that's not necessarily true. If we're not doing it, someone else is. If we're not going to put law and order into place, someone else is. This has been the case, and it has nothing to do with the American. It's just how human organize, law and order. We got everything set up. All they have to do is maintain it. But the issue here is we don't have the courage to maintain the law and order. We don't have the education to maintain the law and order. And where it is right now, we might not make it to the next presidential election. But right now, we're going to prepare for the midterm, and then we're going to prepare for the 2028 presidential. And I'm guessing that Obama is going to want his wife to be president, and then J.D. Vance and Eric Kirk is going to be running for president and vice president. So this shit show might not even get to start. If things work out the way the Americans operate, shit hits the fan pretty quick. And as American, I don't really want to be the shit that hits the fan, or the guy that got hit by the shit that hit the fan. So somebody better grow some balls, read some books of like the Code of Federal Regulations, the U.S. Constitution. Get your shit together and do your job. Defend your country against domestic or foreign enemy. Well, your domestic enemies are very clearly in front of you. Whether you defend your country against them or not, it's going to be historical record, and this will be historic.